Part 5. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 41. Because a dazzling light always shines on her face, Charlotte has to wake up from a comfortable sleep. It has been a long time, she has not slept so sweet. Suddenly she felt that there was another person on the side who was pressing his left arm. Some of them panicked and turned their heads. The eye was Meryl's iconic golden hair, and the little girl was still dreaming, just like the octopus usually wrapped around her. Just a closer look, Meryl's hair is no longer dry, and began to show the luster it should have. When I got up, I found myself sleeping with Milo last night on a flat, large experimental bench. The bed was covered with clean and tidy beds, but it was not my own. The quilt that she had pulled over was gently smelled, very fresh, with a touch of sunshine, almost exactly the same as the feeling of 11 Way on weekdays. At this moment, Charlotte laughed naturally and was innocent. At this moment, Ziwei pushed in and he mentioned the bag in his hand, fresh apples and papayas, this is the hot item just arrived at the tower. Thank you, Ziwei. Charlotte did not rush to cover his shoulders and arms exposed to the air, as if he had got along last night, and two people had new trust and embarrassment. Whoever let us fight against evil partners together, 11 Way licked his left eye and pointed to the roof. It is estimated that Gatlin's mentor is looking for you to award apprenticeships to the contest, or hurry up. By the way, this little confused is also called, I will go to the library first. The time of zero sleep is longer than that expected by Ziwei. This also proves that the energy she absorbed is stronger than expected. Coupled with the light rain last night, Ziwei did not perform the outing. When I came to the library, I saw a group of sick patients. Ade's nose was swollen and his left arm was still bandaged. Linden and Fa Wei, you sneezed one by one, just like a sneezing contest. Yang, Sci Wei asked curiously. According to Yang's work, he would definitely appear in the library in the morning. I didn't see it. Auntie, Fa quickly wiped his nose with a handkerchief that couldn't see the original color. Hey. The sun is coming out from the west today, and I haven't seen Yang, Ade said with emotion. Isn't it be defeated by a woman, no face to see anyone, Linden said, tears in his chest and abdomen, cough, I didn't expect that Charlotte is such a seemingly dangerous woman. It turned out to be a hidden piranha. The strength is so strong, and the start is still so embarrassing. Hey, if I want Charlotte, see you dare to use acid flying, and definitely die. You are called, Ida thought for a long time, still not summed up. Don't die, Westway reminded. Yes, it is to die. You look at Ziwei, admit defeat, and more decisive, people do not have anything, look at our three brothers, simply, he, Ed's small pair of resentful eyes cast on Fa Wei. Haha, Ed, don't complain, I don't know if I will sit on you. I must pay attention next time, haha, Fa Wei is obviously the most superior among the three miserable brothers. He got this. The third place in the second competition won a lot of rewards, and it was only a cold, and the injury was the lightest. Seeing that the common anger of the people will lead to the unharmed self, Ziwei quickly turned and went out. There are two girls in the lab who are dressed and washed. There are no books in the dormitory. I thought about it. Ziwei is still going to the corridor in the middle of the third and fourth floors of the tower. There is a small view that extends outward. Taiwan is also the place he used to love. However, this time, there is already a young black-haired man standing there in a melancholy, overlooking the blue sea not far away. A very beautiful scenery, isn't it? Every time I stand here for a while, it is like the seagull in the air that day, into the vast sky and free to fly, and not just a small apprentice in the tower. Yang actually opened his mouth. Apparently he has already judged the identity of his latecomer. Freedom, what a beautiful words. Who doesn't want it? Maybe everything has to wait for us to become a formal magician to reveal it, Ziwei stepped forward and stood side by side with Yang on the observation deck, letting the breeze blow. Your own hair? Yes. Maybe, Yang Ruo said with deep feelings. How about losing to Charlotte? Ziwei browed and tried. This ending is indeed beyond my expectations, but it also confirmed my guess, so I am not very depressed, but gave birth to new expectations, Yang said faintly. Hey? What is the guess? Ziwei asked very well. Yang turned around and said in the most affirmative tone, Ziwei, you have reached the peak of the magic apprentice. Ziwei smiled mysteriously and did not respond. Yes, we are all smart people. There is no need to say those inferior lies. This is an insult to IQ. And I don't think this is your flaw, but you are distributing some signals intentionally or unintentionally, aren't you? Yang said with emotion. Palin's promotion ceremony is also a verification of my future situation. Obviously, your reaction with Charlotte in the library shows that you are aware of this. I use the secret imprint. Ziwei did not hesitate to use the symbol of the secret imprint of Palin in front of Yang. Green is promotion, blue is safe, red is death. Looking at the three little secrets of green, blue, and red, flashing in front of him, Yang secretly lowered his voice. I made a mark on the gate of the tower, and on the night of Palin's promotion, I detected a humanoid being lifted. Go out. During the speech, Yang's hand also showed a secret imprint, which has a special role. There is no doubt that Palin and Yang, the top two magic apprentices of the two towers, are all the same. I chose the secret imprint, which can be used as a tool to understand the status quo. Charlotte's spell is what you teach, Yang asked with transportation. Only the last gem energy attack. Other spells are on the magic notes that Palin left for her, Ziwei asked without a burying. She really exceeded my imagination, although I originally planned to release water. Yang silenced, still admitted that he lost to Charlotte. Can't face Gatlin, Ziwei smiled. Yang also smiled, and the two people obviously had the same reason. After a long silence, Yang finally couldn't help but open his mouth. What are your plans for next? Ziwei turned his head and looked at Yang seriously. His eyes were only firm and courageous, no flickering, no retreat. Do you know how to advance a ring master? Ziwei finally spoke, with a tone of do you know Amway? When the voice just fell, Yang finally couldn't suppress his expression. He opened his mouth, but he couldn't speak. Finally, Ziwei's ear came with his excited and fanatical voice, do you know? Even in this case, Yang chose to use broadcasting. 11 Wei calmly nodded. How important it is to master a foreign language. In the book Fire, Feng Shui, Magical Origin, the link about the promotion of the first magician of Merlin, all of them is Elvish writing. Welcome to the book readers to read, the latest, fastest, the most fire. The serialized works are all available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 42. For someone who has reached the peak of a magic apprentice, what else is most important? That must be a promotion magician. Just as a couple has already had a wedding, and the guests are all gone, the most important thing is to enter the room. It's frustrating and oppressive to get stuck in the peak of the magic apprenticeship. That shouldn't be an obstacle. In fact, Isaiah came to the world for less than a month of observation, although the magic apprentices in the towers are mostly unable to accumulate 20 standard magical powers and must leave the tower, but this is true magical genius. Saying is never an obstacle. After a short period of time to come to the new world, Ziwei went from 8 standard magic to 20. Meryl grew 3 standard magics in these 20 days, and Charlotte was less than half a month after studying with Ziwei. The magic has also increased by 2. For the recognized genius in the tower, the ability to create a strong zero-ring spell enhance the frozen ray of Yang, magic will become his obstacle? As early as a year ago, when Yang studied magic in his 5th year, when he was 15 years old, he had reached the peak of the magic apprentice. Not only did he learn to hide his magic, but he also keenly noticed the strange atmosphere that shrouded in the tower. Therefore, he has been careful to hide his strength, but also wants to do everything to improve his own strength. All the books in the tower have been seen by him more than 10 times. However, all the news about the promotion of the magician has no trace. I did not expect to be able to accidentally get a promotion to the magician from Ziwei here. Hilna, elf master, tells Merlin that human beings don't seem to have the talent to learn magic. What Merlin practiced in the past 5 years is nothing more than a trick. The elf young children are naturally capable of mastering the tricks. 11 Wei retelled this passage. Yang Jingjing listened, but the more he listened to his hands, the tighter he was, the more he listened to his eyes, the more he became brighter. When Ziwei's voice fell, he excitedly opened his hands as if he was hugging the sky in front of him. The ocean and the freedom you dream of. With Yang's accumulation, he can certainly hear it. Although this is a difficult road, it does not require any secret law. It is an upright promotion path. Although it is difficult, but there is already a road. What's more, with his rumors on the freezing rays, whether it is to study the secondary ice hockey or ice touch in a ring of magic, there is a breakthrough. Even if this road is difficult, he will go all out. Thinking of this, Yang looked at 11 Wei's eyes and had no idea how to express it. He has been educated by his mother since he was a child. If you are blamed, you must report it 3 times. I don't know how to reward this kind of road ahead. How can I repay it? 11 Wei gently patted Yang's shoulder. Time may not be as abundant as you think. I have found the direction. If it succeeds, I will give you guidance. Yang was silent for a while, and finally nodded. Although he was confident and proud, he still understood the key to the matter. Charlotte should be in Gatlin at this time. Is there any danger in her? Yang suddenly asked. Charlotte is clean than we are. Even if there is a flaw in her body, it can be pushed to Palin. It should be. Ziwei brows suddenly wrinkled. He raised his right hand, and the secret of the palm of his hand was already burned. The imprint is flashing with a bright red glow. Half a magic time ago. Charlotte, your excellence is beyond my imagination. I didn't expect that you will stand in front of me. Gatlin looked down at Charlotte, sitting in a chair, and finally shook his head, feeling rude. Do you know? I thought it would be Yang. I am ready, but now it is yours. Gatlin turned and untied the magic lock on the back of the cabinet. A small bottle of medicament was taken from it. Charlotte twitched his hands and took the bottle from Gatlin. This is a reward that he has worked hard to win. This is his magical genius on the magical road to catch up with Ziwei and Yang. Hope. She unscrewed the lid of the bottle, and the nose was a pungent smell of sulfur. The bottle had a lava-like dark red color and a fascinating atmosphere. Charlotte could easily sense it. Powerful energy. This is it Aonang's affinity agent? Charlotte was somewhat suspicious. Although the potion in his hand was strong, it was not exactly the same as the green ball that Ziwei gave last night. Of course, drinking it, you can get a powerful force, Gatlin encouraged. Charlotte hesitated to look at the potion in front of him. However, under the gaze of Gatlin as a man, she finally gritted her teeth and poured her bottle of dark red medicine into her mouth. The next moment, the burning of high temperature came from the mouth and throat. As if she swallowed the real fire, her whole body slammed. The skin of the whole body was quickly twisted, chapped, as if there was a new the demon is being generated in her body. Looking at the figure that was completely swallowed by the deep red flame in front of him, Gatlin's eyes flashed a stern color. Charlotte, everything is destiny. If not for the arrival of Flaia, give me a better choice. I won't do this for you. Next, it is life or death. It depends on your life. This is the blood of a bottle of abyss demon, and there is the smell of the sorcerer. In the past, you are the new abyss Kanjak. If you can't go on, you can only say sorry. Looking at the flashing red secret law mark on his hand, 11 Wei's face became iron blue. This, Yang stepped back and his face was dignified. He obviously understood what it meant. Gatlin, reneging, Zai Wei said calmly, but Yang felt that every word in the short words contained a horrible atmosphere as if the storm was coming before the arrival. What should I do? If there is a place where I can use it, I will never give up. At this moment, Yang has chosen to cooperate with the blonde teenager who is only 15 years old in the new cooperation. Now, do nothing. Zai Wei walked out of the viewing platform, and his feet seemed to step on the thunder. Wait for me. 0. I need you. Zai Wei had to interrupt the natural evolution of 0. Based on the deepest flaws in the soul contract, 0 received the news of Zai Wei even in the deep sleep that was completely undisturbed. She slowly stopped the original evolution and began to thaw slowly like hibernating creatures. What happened? Dear Master Zai Wei, 0 seems to have just woke up in the mind of Zai Wei. How is your evolution completed? Very good, my analysis and storage space activation has reached 9.8%, and the ontology ability has been greatly enhanced, but I have not been able to breed new capabilities. I am afraid I will wait until you are promoted to the magician to generate. I need you to go to the 6th floor of the tower, find Charlotte, tell me what she is doing now. This is also the only effective way that the current Zai Wei can think of. After Charlotte has an accident? Well, I will go now. 0 jumped gently from the heart of Zai Wei's heart lake, and the light blue light flashed past, and soon disappeared, no trace. Just tonight, the experiment of magic missile must be carried out. Looking at the 0 agile body in the mental sense, Zai Wei made a decision. Welcome to the book, friends, to read. The latest, the fastest, hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Du. Chapter 43. The Endless Abyss is a collective term for a huge collection of planes. Inside it, there are countless planes of varying sizes, and the Abyss Demon rules it. The Abyss Demons are powerful, chaotic, and disorderly. They are eager to descend to the main material plane, eager to destroy the Orient continent. They were almost successful 800 years ago. In the end, however, these demons were repulsed, and their mountainous bodies made the prestige of the Church of the Glorious Lord, and the Church of the Glorious Lord almost unified the faith of the entire humanity of the Orient continent and became the most powerful force in the world. The blood of the Abyss is violent, corrosive, and full of blood. Once humans drink the blood of the Abyss, more than 90% of the probability will usher in death, and only a few lucky ones can resist this shock. As a reward for their tenacious vitality, they will gain the power of the Abyss and become the Abyss Kanjak. If these people can still have children, then a brand new warlock or knight family will be born. When the 0 of the complete disappearance came to the 6th floor of the tower, fortunately, Gatlin was not here for the time being, leaving only Charlotte, who was alone in the fight against fate. The closed door couldn't stop 0 at all. A shadow jump, through the shadow plane, 0 has entered the lab and saw Charlotte. At this time, her body burned with flames on her body, and the surface of her skin seemed to be burned to brownish black. However, it was strange that her long-haired maroon hair was not burned to ashes, still fluttering in the air with the flames. The blood of the Abyss Demon has completely broken into the blood of Charlotte. Her consciousness and soul are being burned by the wildfire, and has fallen to the brink of collapse. Is this, whether it is 0 or Zai Wei, it is limited by the accumulation of knowledge, and there is no reason to know about Charlotte's current situation, but anyone can see that Charlotte is already dancing with death. The blood of the Abyss Demon has already controlled Charlotte's body, leaving only her soul, and still carrying the final resistance. The 0 light footsteps circled Charlotte 2 times, observing and analyzing the status quo of Charlotte in his own unique way. She has not lost consciousness, the blood inside her body has changed. Her DNA is transforming into an unknown life. 0. Try to communicate with her, encourage her, help her to complete this transformation soberly. Ziwei indulged for a moment and finally made a decision. Obviously, Gatlin is definitely not purely to kill Charlotte, which is not good for him. His idea should be to convert Charlotte into a life of unknown race. But in any case, Charlotte's soul must be preserved, otherwise I am afraid that Gatlin will have a mysterious creature with strong combat power and full control by him, and Charlotte will become a sacrifice for sacrifice. Ziwei, in this case, I need to temporarily disarm the soul with you, asked strangely. Yes. Just do it, Ziwei nodded without hesitation. As a unique life, Zero has the ability to communicate with anyone. Now, the cat-type magic pet that has been summoned by the ectopic plane is Zero as a carrier of life. It is almost an independent life. If Ziwei releases the restrictions on soul binding, then at this moment, Zero as a creature will gain complete freedom. No longer being instructed by people, no longer completely obeying people, just doing what you want to do, truly free. If Zero really goes away from Ziwei, then Ziwei will lose almost all of his reliance, leaving only the memories of previous lives. In the new world, there will be no fear. With the idea of Ziwei, in the depths of his soul, and the deepest flaws, the invisible double helix lock is quietly opened, and the two are completely detached, and there is no trace. At this moment, Zero is completely free and free as a life. She was a little overwhelmed and lost 2 turns on the ground until the voice of Ziwei came again. Go help Charlotte to tide over the difficulties, my best friend. The subconscious mind nodded and jumped, the energy body quietly dissipated, and only the most core part was invested in Charlotte's eyebrows. At this time, Charlotte has reached the end of the road. When she just drank the blood of the demon, she realized that it was definitely not a kinetic agent, but the blood of the demon was so overbearing that it completely controlled her body, and overbearing her body, completely regardless of the owner of the body itself. Charlotte's skin, blood, and muscles are reorganized in a moment. Everywhere in her body is tearing and burning. She experiences the most unbearable pain in her life. This pain is more than anything she can think of. The pain is even stronger. Almost a moment, she will faint, but she is keenly aware that if she is in a coma, then there will be no doubt that she will die. She desperately endured this pain, in a short moment, as if she had passed Sanshung 3. Just when she finally couldn't help but give up, to escape this endless pain, a new life suddenly appeared in her heart lake. Charlotte, Ziwei let me help you, the first sentence after the appearance of this pale blue kitten, completely achieved the trust of Charlotte. At this time of life and death, she can only put the last hope on this mysterious visitor. Your blood is transforming. If you can get through, you will change into a new creature. And it is a creature with powerful power. If it doesn't pass, it will die, or the biotransformation will succeed, but only instinct. Zero tells her the status quo. What should I do? Charlotte asked anxiously. Even if you are a strong man, you will die in this situation. But you are not only conscious, but your hair is still intact. I think you may have a unique hidden blood. In this case, the blood force is giving you the last protection. Zero analysis. Charlotte calms down, feels everything about the body. After a moment, she squeezed a smile. I feel my heart, warm, very comfortable, not as painful as anywhere else. Activate her blood. Charlotte should be a recessive blood. In this case, it is only possible to save her by activating the bloodstream. Ziwei still can sense everything from Zero, he quickly reminded. Charlotte, there is a hidden blood in your body, you must activate it and use it to fight this burning fire. What should I do? Tell me soon. Charlotte seems to have caught the last one. Root life straw. Silence for a moment. Zero then opened. Rog, I am going to die, my lover, can meet you, is the happiest thing in my life. No, Ellie, you are my light of hope, it is the fire of my life. Without you, I can't exist alone, but the fiery flame of the dragon is burning me. Rog, my lover, you will leave quickly, or you will die. No, Ellie, my lover, I won't let you die alone. I would rather leave the world with you, Rog, Ellie, and the last hope. Ellie is the princess of St. Petersburg, her body is filled with the blood of the great Snow Queen. Although she does not show extraordinary power, it is likely that this blood power is hidden. Activate the blood of the great Ice Queen, and fight against this flame. With zero knowledge reserves, only in the Night Story of Dragon Knight Legend, I found a short description of how to activate the hidden blood. Whether this is the author's artistic processing, you can only use the dead horse as a living horse doctor at this time. Welcome to the readers to read, the latest, fastest and most popular serial works. Mobile users please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 44. Relax your spirit completely, let your heart control everything you have. This is the way in which the legend of the Dragon Knight, Princess Ellie, activates the hidden blood. This, although Charlotte did not believe it, it was already the only hope in the desperate. She had to completely confine her mind and will in the heart of the lake, and gave everything to her destiny, and it was because she had a deep accumulation in meditation that she could do this. It seems that the gates that resisted many days have finally opened, and the power of the wild demon blood poured into the last fortress, pouring into Charlotte's heart and brain. However, the magical thing happened, and the power that has been sleeping in Charlotte has been awakened by the invasion of outsiders. It seems as if the beast from the shadows is like the Supreme King, just a little faint consciousness, as if completely threatening the blood of the violent demon. The warm current began to flow out of Charlotte's heart and slowly flowed through her body. The fire that had been burning was slowly calming down, and finally there was only a maroon hair that was dancing in the wind, such as jumping. The flames are flying. In the process, Zero felt a strong momentum. She tried to huddle in the corner of Charlotte's heart lake, without any movement. In the end, Charlotte finally opened his eyes and closed his eyes. His eyes were red and bloody. Charlotte, you are victorious. Take control of your new body. At this critical moment, Zero quickly reminded. Charlotte quickly stretched out his own soul and will, trying to control his new body, but the process was not as smooth as she thought. Nearly half of this body has become another powerful creature, not a human being. This process, as if it was slid on the gravel-like ground with its weakest place, is full of pain, but for Charlotte, who has experienced the burning of the flames, this is nothing. She resisted discomfort, and she used her own will to cover her whole body. Every bit, step by step, she finally took control of this new body. Zero jumped out of her heart lake and restored the appearance of the magic pet civet. You are the magic pet called by Sci-fi. Charlotte looked curiously at the petite blue cat in front of her, and her dreamy purple pupil. However, she just made a sound, and noticed that her original mellow voice became low and hoarse. She subconsciously summoned the water mirror, but found that the convergence of water elements was 10 times more difficult than before. After spending more than a dozen standard magic, Charlotte finally summoned a water mirror. The person in the mirror has a flowing red hair with a breathtaking red eye, a red and black mottled skin. There is still blood left on the surface of the wound. Every drop of blood dripping on the ground is like a metal that melts at a high temperature, and the ground of the marble is burned out. God! What did I become? Charlotte lost his voice, and the water mirror in his hand instantly dissipated and turned into a haze. The beautiful face and white skin that the original girl is proud of has completely turned into the face and skin of the horrible abyssal Konjak. The hard thing is that you are still alive, said Zero faintly. Charlotte fell silent. She slowly raised her hands and finally said in a low, hoarse voice, yes, I survived. I feel a powerful force in my body. I succeeded. Only Zero noticed that a drop of crystal water appeared in the corner of Charlotte's eyes, but instantly it was evaporated by high temperature and dissipated invisible. It's Gatlin's footsteps. He's back. I'm leaving, whispered, turning around as a shadow jump, disappearing beyond Charlotte's field of vision. Soon, the door was kicked open, and Gatlina's aging body appeared in the lab. Hey! It's a perfect masterpiece. What a powerful and beautiful creature. What do I call you? Gatlin praised the heart, and seemed to see the perfect creation. Gatlin's mentor, I don't think this is a kinetic agent. Charlotte pressed all the anger in his heart and said slowly. Charlotte? Your consciousness is still. Gatlin seemed to be shocked for a moment. He was sluggish for a moment, and he changed his passionate smile. Charlotte, my most proud student, you have succeeded. I want to praise you sincerely. You are no longer a humble mortal, but a deep awkward Kanjak. The blood of the Abyss Demon is flowing in your body. You will become a knight family or a warlock family. The ancestor. I have a great chance of dying, isn't it? Charlotte's mouth raised slightly. No, no, how can I be so irresponsible to you? I added a neutralizer to the blood of this demon, even the worst result, but the conversion failed. Your safety is completely no problem. Gatlin quickly explained. How do I explain this to other apprentices now? Charlotte raised his hand and extended the red and black arms to Gatlin. I have a fire cloak in my inventory that can withstand the flame without being burnt out. This cloak will send you. As for the face, I have a mask for the night I can breathe freely. I will tell you that you will be my assistant in the future, follow me to study and experiment, so that you can get in touch with other apprentices. Gatlin apparently made arrangements early. Okay, that's it, Charlotte slightly decapitated. After a few moments, Charlotte, wrapped in a dark red fireproof cloak with a silver grey mask on his face, slowly descended the stairs and left the lab in Gatlin. Gatlin's original kind smile instantly solidified, and his face was very gloomy. Damn. She is a weak magic apprentice, how can she resist the burning of the fire? She should have lost consciousness and become a me, the trick of manipulation. My impeccable arrangement, why did it fail? No one noticed that in the corner of the room full of shadows, an invisible civet was lurking, showing no trace at all. Charlotte's footsteps are slow and heavy, and the time of a magical moment is already a matter of fact. She walked back to her bedroom alone, with half a basin of clean water in the copper basin behind her door, reflecting her silver grey mask and the flame-like hair. She slowly put her hands in the water. The original calm water is rolling like a boiling water, and the white mist rises and lingers throughout the room. She suddenly looked up, the right palm rested on the walnut wooden table, the desktop made a stinging thorn sound, a black coke was instantly generated. Charlotte turned a few laps in the room, and finally wrapped himself in a fireproof cloak. The whole person fell into a bed and huddled up. He woke up. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, and hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 45. Hey, Zero jumped on Zaiwei's knee and found a comfortable place on his legs and picked it up. 11 Wei gently rubbed the soft hair on her head and back. Come back. Our hero. Zaiwei, I am not afraid that I will leave you, run alone, shaking his head, satisfied with his eyes, enjoying the touch of Zaiwei. In this life, there must always be a few confidants. You and I have been traveling for a few dozen years in the sky. If you use it, you can't describe it with your words. You can't describe it here. Instead, let me see you get rid of artificial intelligence. The opportunity to truly be independent is also a blessing, Zaiwei said with a smile. Zero, well behaved, I haven't made a sound for a long time. Gatlin, this person really did not put the apprentice's life in his eyes. The more recent behaviors have become more and more worrying, as if even the original hypocritical mask is not needed. The bad situation has reached the extreme. Zaiwei slightly frowns. In this case, We must unite all possible forces. Charlotte, Yang, Meryl, right, how is Charlotte now? I have to pay more attention to keep a distance from her, so as not to cause Gatlin. Note. Being sad because of ruining alone, Zero stretched out the front paws and scratched his face with a small claw. More and more like a real cat. Ziwei was unable to spit and asked, "Is it? How do I feel more beautiful? And the recognition is even higher. Hey, you have to be clear, here is not the 35th century, without your wonderful aesthetic." The little girl is crying and screaming, he did not hesitate. Since this is the case, then I will make a painting, and give it to the injured girl. Ziwei stood up and took out a large white paper and laid it on the experimental bench. Red hazelnut, blue vine, black clay, not bad, still can find a lot of experimental materials for making pigments. Ziwei quickly selected from the experimental materials, while grinding and blending, a moment of effort, ready finished. When you are alone, you must learn to pass the time in the endless sea of stars, and painting is the choice of Ziwei. This is also his best skill. When he sees Ziwei to start painting, he quickly jumps on the test bed and stares intently. It is also her greatest hobby to watch Ziwei painting. Although the pen, paper, or paint are all inferior goods, Ziwei is still not busy. Once standing in front of the canvas, he is the real master. With a touch of ink and an understatement, in less than an hour, a painting was freshly baked. The sky is dark, the clouds are pressing, the thunder, the rain is falling. At the edge is an old and broken castle, exuding the scent of decay. A small road leads to the outside world, surrounded by grey mud, and there is a piece of rain on the ground. In the middle of the painting, she is a tall woman. Her body is almost covered in a large crimson cloak with a pair of bright silver high-heeled iron boots. The flaming red hair that grows almost to the waist is dancing with the wind, and the rain is lingering in it, attracting Zero gaze like a magnet. Her face is red and black, red is flesh and blood, black is lava, her eyes are red like blood, her nose rises high, she has the perfect combination of fear and beauty, let people can't help but want to escape, but want to get close. She smiled slightly and sighed at the corner of her mouth. At first glance, it was a terrifying smile, but everyone was intoxicated. She is horrible, she is beautiful, the two are perfectly integrated in her body, cannot be separated, this beauty, breathtaking. In the lower left corner, a small piece of grass is swaying into the west, and it is made into a sentence, "This is the beauty, the gift of Charlotte. This Charlotte, I really earned it, after watching it for a long time," Zero commented. "I am stupid, I won't say it, I have to do it. I hope this gift will make her cheer up again." Ziwei smiled with satisfaction. "It's too late, dinner time is over, most apprentices are starting to rest, it's time to start the final breakthrough. Zero, my best friend, are you ready?" "Of course, I have been waiting for this moment." Zero jumped, the body gradually blurred, and finally turned into a light spot, jumped into the west eyebrow. Ziwei sorted out the magic robe, took stock of the next thing, hung the painting that had just been completed on the shelf that stood up, waiting to dry. After everything was ready, Ziwei walked out of the lab, locked the door, and quickly walked down to the observation deck on the third floor to see the left and right people start the spell break into the shadow. This is a spell rewarded after the magic pet summoning ceremony. It cannot be seen and attacked within 10 seconds. He completely broke into the fog, and then jumped gently, blessing the wind and having a light body like a swallow. He gently landed on the ground, so he first came outside the tower. The torch was inserted outside the tower, and guards were guarded in each direction. With the cover of the spell and the night, Ziwei quickly walked out of the 100 meters and finally disappeared into the darkness. Zero has already traveled all over the island before returning to the tower, helping Ziwei to choose the most suitable place to break through. It is a small cave on the other side of the tower. It is also far from the arcane crystal mine. Overgrown with no one. 11 Wei's footsteps were very light, and there was no footprint on the ground, and Elena blessed him with the eyes of the silver moon, which made him able to see the road under his feet even in the middle of the night when he could not reach his fingers. What's more, at this time, the silver moon is full like a jade plate, and the glory of the goddess Ai Luna is gently sprinkling on the earth in such a night. Zai Wei is like bathing in a hot spring, comfortable. Relaxed again, his spirit seems to have been washed, fresh and full of vitality. Although there is no meditation, it seems to be better than the effect of meditation. In a short period of time, the magic of one day's consumption is added to the most complete and full, and for the promotion of the magician, Zai Wei has achieved the best state to meet it. When I arrived at the cave, I found a place with the flattest terrain. With a bright moonlight, 11 Whooping regained his mood and began the final experiment on the magic missile. The construction of the mana model, followed by the magic gathering, the whole process is completely without any slight mistakes. All the magic energy in the air is captured by Zai Wei. The ground, fire, wind, water, light, dark, completely noisy, mixed into colorless energy. Just then, a new change suddenly occurred. The colorless energy that was originally mixed together, although the energy intensity far exceeds a single energy, but as a miscellaneous army, the effect of inspiring is greatly reduced, but in such a bright moonlight night, these energies seems to be completely reconciled. They no longer divide each other, and they gradually become one, becoming a kind of glazed light. This is a qualitative change from a mixture to a compound. Although very surprised, Zai Wei did not stop casting. This faint silver light gathered at the tip of his right index finger, more and more shiny, more and more powerful. Finally, at the last moment, Zai Wei took a deep breath and completed the final release. This group of light silver energy flew out, and if it was thunder, welcome all the book friends to visit. The latest, fastest and most fire serials are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 46. In writing, later update. Hey, Zero jumped on Zai Wei's knee and found a comfortable place on his legs and picked it up. 11 Wei gently rubbed the soft hair on her head and back. Come back. Our hero. Zai Wei, I am not afraid that I will leave you, run alone, shaking his head, satisfied with his eyes, enjoying the touch of Zai Wei. In this life, there must always be a few confidants. You and I have been traveling for a few dozen years in the sky. If you use it, you can't describe it with your words and you can't describe it. Come here, let me see that you have the opportunity to get rid of artificial intelligence. It's a blessing to make a truly independent self, Zai Wei said with a smile. Zero well behaved, I haven't made a sound for a long time. Gatlin, this person really did not put the apprentice's life in his eyes. The more recent behaviors have become more and more worrying, as if even the original hypocritical mask is not needed. The bad situation has reached the extreme. Zai Wei slightly frowns. In this case, we must unite all possible forces. Charlotte, Yang, Meryl, right, how is Charlotte now? I have to pay more attention to keep a distance from her, so as not to cause Gatlin. Note. Being sad because of ruining alone, Zero stretched out the front paws and scratched his face with a small claw. More and more like a real cat. Zai Wei was unable to spit and asked, is it? How do I feel more beautiful? And the recognition is even higher. Hey, you have to be clear, here is not the 35th century, without your wonderful aesthetic. The little girl is crying and screaming. He did not hesitate. This way. Let me make a painting, give it to the injured girl. Zai Wei stood up and took out a large white paper and laid it on the test bench. Red hazelnut, blue vine, black clay, not bad, still can find a lot of experimental materials for making pigments. Ziwei quickly selected from the experimental materials, while grinding and blending, a moment of effort, ready finished. When you are alone, you must learn to pass the time in the endless sea of stars, and painting is the choice of Ziwei. This is also his best skill. When he sees Ziwei to start painting, he quickly jumps on the test bed and stares intently. It is also her greatest hobby to watch Ziwei painting. Although the pen, paper, or paint are all inferior goods, Ziwei is still not busy. Once standing in front of the canvas, he is the real master. With a touch of ink and an understatement, in less than an hour, a painting was freshly baked. The sky is dark, the clouds are pressing, the thunder, the rain is falling. At the edge is an old and broken castle, exuding the scent of decay. A small road leads to the outside world, surrounded by grey mud, and there is a piece of rain on the ground. In the middle of the painting, she is a tall woman. Her body is almost covered in a large crimson cloak with a pair of bright silver high-heeled iron boots. The flaming red hair that grows almost to the waist is dancing with the wind, and the rain is lingering in it, attracting Zero gaze like a magnet. Her face is red and black, red is flesh and blood, black is lava, her eyes are red like blood, her nose rises high, she blends fear and beauty so perfect that people can't stand it. Live and want to escape, but want to get close. She smiled slightly and sighed at the corner of her mouth. At first glance, it was a terrifying smile, but it made everyone unable to escape. She is horrible, she is beautiful, the two are perfectly integrated in her body, cannot be separated, this beauty, breathtaking. In the lower left corner, a small piece of grass is swaying into the west, and it is put into a sentence, beauty, gift Charlotte. This Charlotte, I really earned it, after watching it for a long time, Zero commented. I am stupid, I won't say it, I have to do it. I hope this gift will make her cheer up again. Ziwei smiled with satisfaction. It's too late, dinner time is over, most apprentices are starting to rest, it's time to start the final breakthrough. Zero, my best friend, are you ready? Of course, I have been waiting for this moment. Zero jumped, the body gradually blurred, and finally turned into a light spot, jumped into the west eyebrow. Ziwei sorted out the magic robe, took stock of the next thing, hung the painting that had just been completed on the shelf that stood up, waiting to dry. After everything was ready, Ziwei walked out of the lab, locked the door, and quickly walked down to the observation deck on the third floor to see the left and right people start the spell break into the shadow. This is a spell rewarded after the magic pet summoning ceremony. It cannot be seen and attacked within 10 seconds. He completely broke into the fog, and then jumped gently, blessing the wind and having a light body like a swallow. He gently landed on the ground, so he first came outside the tower. The torch was inserted outside the tower, and guards were guarded in each direction. With the cover of the spell and the night, Ziwei quickly walked out of the 100 meters and finally disappeared into the darkness. Zero has already traveled all over the island before returning to the tower, helping Ziwei to choose the most suitable breakthrough place. It is a small cave under another coast of the tower, which is also far from the arcane crystal mine. Overgrown with no one. 11 Wei's footsteps were very light, and there was no footprint on the ground, and Elena blessed him with the eyes of the silver moon, which made him able to see the road under his feet even in the middle of the night when he could not reach his fingers. What's more, at this time, the silver moon is full like a jade plate, and the glory of the goddess Ai Luna is gently sprinkling on the earth in such a night. Ziwei is like bathing in a hot spring, comfortable and comfortable. Relaxed again, his spirit seems to have been washed, fresh and full of vitality. Although there is no meditation, it seems to be better than the effect of meditation. In a short period of time, the magic of one day's consumption is added to the most complete and full, and for the promotion of the magician, Ziwei has achieved the best state to meet it. When I arrived at the cave, I found a place with the flattest terrain. With a bright moonlight, 11 Whooping regained his mood and began the final experiment on the magic missile. The construction of the mana model, followed by the magic gathering, the whole process is completely without any slight mistakes. All the magic energy in the air is captured by Zaiwei. The ground, fire, wind, water, light, dark, completely noisy, mixed into colorless energy. Just then, a new change suddenly occurred. The colorless energy that was originally mixed together, although the energy intensity far exceeds a single energy, but as a miscellaneous army, the effect of inspiring is greatly reduced, but in such a bright moonlight night, these energies seems to be completely reconciled. They no longer divide each other, and they gradually become one, becoming a kind of glazed light. This is a qualitative change from a mixture to a compound. Although very surprised, Zaiwei did not stop casting. This faint silver light gathered at the tip of his right index finger, more and more shiny, more and more powerful. Finally, at the last moment, Zaiwei took a deep breath and completed the final release. This group of light silver energy flew out, and if it was thunder, welcome all the book friends to visit. The latest, fastest and most fire serials are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 47. So fast. This is the first reaction of Zaiwei intuition. The magic missile flew through the bright silver arc in the air, and it flew for dozens of meters in a moment, then rushed into the sea. The calm sea that was originally calm was suddenly disturbed, and a large wave of spray was turned over. It took a long time to return to calm. For every man, the feeling of shooting is a kind of enjoyment. At this moment, Zaiwei also feels an incomparable pleasure. He felt that his magic seemed to be in a tide, undulating, rolling, but it was responding at a fast speed, which was even faster than the speed of meditation. The machine can't be lost. There are 2 changes to the experiment tonight, but they are all in the right direction. Zaiwei also took the time to start the second magic missile attempt. This time, the energy is more familiar, and when the energy is initially concentrated, Zaiwei's attention has reached the most concentrated moment. The next moment, he was keenly aware that the previous changes happened again. It seems that there is an enzyme-like substance that quickly transforms these messy energy into a pure and powerful energy. At this moment, this spell should no longer be called a magic missile, and his energy is beyond the scope of the magic missile. If magic is a mystery, using various mysterious substances and energies to strengthen itself and reach a powerful realm, then using a scientific and methodical approach to applying and parsing its rules and origins is in magic. Level 1 level higher, this level can be called arcane. Then this spell can be named Arcane Missile. The second arcane missile flew out smoothly. This time, after adjusting the launching direction in Zaiwei, it flew 20 meters and slammed into the damp sand. Peng, a large piece of sand flew up and there was a shallow pit of more than 10 centimeters on the ground. The farther the range is, the more energy attenuation is. Zaiwei was acutely aware of the attenuation of energy during the launch. After about 50 meters, the energy attenuation is not great. Then, Zaiwei tried again. This time, the arcane missiles ran 100 meters away, and the faint light was visible to the naked eye. The final result was only splashing 3 or 2 points on the ground. 100 meters, the power is obviously not good. After 3 spells, the magic of Zaiwei has fallen to a very low edge. Zaiwei stopped and began to relieve all the feelings of these several spells. From the construction of the mana model to the convergence of energy, to the display, the whole process is so clear, and Zaiwei firmly believes that it does not take too long, and you can truly engrave the spell in your own soul. But what is the kind of energy or substance that acts like an enzyme? At this moment, 0 is open. Zaiwei, I monitored the internal changes in your body when you cast spells. You can find that in the process of energy conversion, Your key to the heart is your heart lake. And you are now magically fast. The state of recovery is also for this reason. Zai Wei quickly poured his spirit into the heart of the lake. At this moment, the magic contained in it is no longer Pinghu, but like the tides rise and fall, ups and downs, but in the process, Zai Wei feels the magic is replied at a very fast speed. Perhaps this is a more effective way to think. Meditation is the basis for all magicians to gain magic. The magicians in different genres and different places have different meditation gates, and the sacred ideas given by the towers are undoubtedly very basic methods. If a magic apprentice needs to be a magician for an average of 7 or 8 years, how can the magic masters who can perform the 7-ring spells and the legendary wizards who can perform the 9-ring spells accomplish before death? You must know that every step on the magic road is far more convincing than the previous one. Zai Wei's previous exploration of the meditation door has undoubtedly received results. Today's meditation door can be called the tide meditation idea. Under this meditation, the magic growth rate is 3 times that of the original. When 11 Wei quietly sat on the beach by the sea for half a magic, until the magic recovered more than half, then he stood up again. The 4th time, the arcane missile. At this time, Zai Wei completely sinks his spirit into the heart of the lake. He wants to observe the changes in the lake at the center of the casting process. This is undoubtedly dangerous. Casting spells must be focused, and Zai Wei is used in one heart. However, Zai Wei has sufficient confidence in himself. He believes that this spell is completely controlled by himself. Even if the spirit sinks into the lake, there will be no spell casting failure. Spell model construction. When the spell model was built, the heart of Zai Wei began to change. The magic that was originally contained in it seemed to be dragged by the nameless force, and quickly ascended, filling up the spell model floating above the heart lake. Then, the energy is concentrated. In this process, the messy spell energy that is externally captured by Zai Wei suddenly attaches to the spell model, turning this originally bleak spell model into a bright and translucent colorless glass. At this moment, the magic tide in the West Lake was suddenly rolled up as if the storm was coming, and the spell model was completely swept, and the change of energy happened immediately. When the tide is calm, the energy on the spell model has become the pale silver that Zai Wei had seen before. The next moment the 4th arcane missiles will be issued smoothly. This time, the arcane missile flew less than 10 meters away and slammed into the rock wall of the cave, causing a large amount of sediment and dust, and a mountain rock was peeled off. However, all this did not affect Zai Wei. For the first time, Zai Wei used the inner senses to cast spells. It was also the first time that he observed changes in the heart of the lake when he cast his own spells. Through this process, he has a deeper and more intuitive understanding of how magic is released. There is no doubt that the magical power of the magician is limited, and they cannot completely enclose the energy of magic in their own heart lake. The magic in the heart lake is the same as the spell model, gestures, syllables, and casting materials. However, the magic is not only different, but also the difference in quality. Just tonight, the magic of Zai Wei is essentially beyond the original magic, which is the transition from magical missiles to arcane missiles. This test is undoubtedly worthwhile, not only the only way to be promoted to the magician, but also to let yourself have a deeper understanding of magic, closer to the essence of understanding. This is definitely not taught by the tower, and it is also the most valuable core secret. The heart of the original Zai Wei overflowing heart, now transformed into the tide of the magic, but only less than a third of the remaining. Zai Wei can completely increase the magic through meditation until the heart lake is completely filled. Although the capacity of Xinhu Lake is no different from before, the magic power that can be saved has increased by 3 times. Welcome to the Readers to Read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 48. Zai Wei did not stay on the coast for too long. After getting enough harvest, he began to return to the tower. After all, long-term disappearance is likely to cause doubts. When I returned to the tower, it was still the blast that was added to the shadow. The self-made fly hook of Ziwei easily slid on the 3-story observation deck, and he was as light as a swallow, and he was as good as a monkey. Climbed in, there was no alarming sleepy guard. When Ziwei, like a cat, did not make any sound and returned to his bedroom, he just breathed a sigh of relief, but suddenly heard a greeting, "Where did you go so late?" Listening to this low and hoarse female voice, Ziwei relaxed in a nervous mood. He turned around. "Charlotte. How did you get in?" In the middle of the night, Charlotte's red pupils and a fire-like hair are so bright. She appeared in front of Ziwei only wearing a fire cloak, and the mask that could cover her appearance was not worn on her face. The red and black, blood and lava skin is directly exposed in front of Ziwei, and Charlotte has no intention of covering it. "It's a brave girl," Ziwei said with amazement. "I didn't expect you to come out of this blow so soon." Charlotte smiled and turned the magic light inside. The dark yellow light shone and the picture that was placed on the table. "This is beauty. I slept with your Meryl in your lab last night. You gave me the key this morning." Charlotte shook his hand and made a crisp crash. "It's this picture that gives me a good mood." She started laughing, relaxed and natural. "I am like this, is it really beautiful?" Charlotte looked straight at Ziwei and asked seriously. 11 Wei did not speak. He stepped forward and handed over her bright red hair. "Long hair is hot, some hot, but still tolerable. Two people are stuck at a very close distance. In my eyes, you are now more beautiful than before." Ziwei is telling the truth. In the 35th century, changes in the body level can be said that even small surgery is not enough. How many young people do not agree to add their own wings or the skin of the whole body to blue? Change the image more than change clothes. Charlotte's current image is not a horror in the eyes of 11 Wei, and there is a strange beauty, which is exactly what he caught, and it is also perfectly displayed in the painting. "I don't know if you still have such superb painting skills." "There is no painting teacher in the tower." Charlotte laughed and stunned, and her low and hoarse voice began to bear a sense of beauty. "Maybe it's talent." Ziwei loosened his hand on her hair, "and your image has the potential to change." "Yes? How can it be done?" Charlotte screamed, and if she could, she was not willing to be a stranger in the eyes of others. When Ziwei used to swim in the Xingai, he also played physical transformation when he was bored. These data and functions are backed up, but they are not activated yet. With your own growth and zero recovery, it is not too difficult to carry out physical transformation in the future. We are the magician of the future. Magic is mysterious, there will always be a solution, isn't it? Ziwei comforted. Maybe. Charlotte sat down. "You just left the tower, right?" Ziwei nodded and admitted her guess. "What's outside? Tell me soon." "There are docks, mines, a small village, and a large stretch of the coast. I really want to go out and see. I have had enough in the days of the tower." Charlotte tightened his body nervously. "This day will not be far," Ziwei said confidently. "What is your hidden blood? After activation, should you receive some information?" Charlotte frowned and thought for a long time. "The hidden blood in my body should also be a kind of abyss demon. And it is a powerful fire-related demon. But this blood has been circulating for too long, too. I am also very weak. If it were not for this accident, I am afraid that it will not be activated in my life." "Related to fire," Ziwei suddenly reacted. "Your heart lake is not the land of lava?" "It seems very likely. Perhaps it is inflammation? Then you can now detect any new ability." Charlotte did not speak, but gently tapped a finger. A flame instantly condensed in her palm. For the magic apprentices, among the 4 basic elements, wind and water are easier to perceive and summon, while ground and fire are relatively difficult. so that the zero-ring spell of fire element is the most scarce. Charlotte's flame ball, which is displayed by hand, is no worse than the arcane missile that Sci-fi can perform from the perspective of energy intensity. So now, Charlotte, I congratulate you on being a ringman, Sci-fi said with a smile. This is a blessing in disguise. Charlotte gave a look at Sci-fi. I would rather not have this kind of happiness. Yes, the mysterious cat I saw in the morning is the magic pet you summoned. Magic call, residual, this spell or me exchanged to you. This spell is very dangerous. I did not expect that you actually summoned success. Yes, it's very dangerous, but it's all gone, Sci-fi said with emotion. From Gatling's point of view, this is undoubtedly a failed attempt. His success in transforming your blood has been successful, but you still have a clear consciousness that he did not expect. He not only failed to gain a thug, but also secretly guarded you. From our perspective, the power against evil is a strong one. What should we do? Continue to wait? I was really scared this time. He said that it is good to reward my arcane affinity pharmacy, but I did not expect that I would drink the blood of the devil without any concern. He is simply crazy, Charlotte complained. He's not crazy, but he is on the verge of reaching the edge of his ambition. So he has less worry about his actions. Sci-fi frowned slightly. We still need a little time, not too long. Sci-fi needs to hurry up to promote the magician, and he also intends to strengthen the strength of Yang, Meryl, and others. About meditation, I have just created a new method, called the tidal thoughts, which can increase the magic growth rate by 3 times, 11 Wei faintly throws the bait. Really, Charlotte said with a surprise, the power of the warlock is entirely dependent on the blood. I can hardly control it, or the path of the magician is more worth looking forward to. Is it the kind of meditation that Meryl experimented yesterday? Sci-fi nodded. Yes, I had an idea before, I experimented, and I exchanged practice with Meryl. Now it is mature. Charlotte suddenly calms down. She looks carefully Sci-fi, as if to find out what is on him. After a long time, she said, Sci-fi, I really can't see you. You don't need to tell me, or need me to exchange something like before. You don't plan to see Palin, leave it to me. Magic notes? At least 5 spells you haven't seen before. 11 Wei smiled. Now these spells are not important. Charlotte, have you ever thought about it? If we really beat Gatlin, what are you going to do next? What are your plans for the future? Charlotte is lost. She has lived on the edge of life and death since she was a child, and everything is for survival. After coming to the tower, she tried her best to strengthen her strength. Recently, she has fallen into the shadow of death and desperately wants to live. Then, when the haze is gone, returning to the sun, what do you do? Charlotte shook his head and hugged his head tightly. I don't know, I never thought about it, I don't know what to do. After a long time, she suddenly looked up. Sci-fi, what are your plans? 11 Wei's face showed a gentle smile. This island, this tower, is a very good place. Defeat Gatling. I plan to build a real college here and train one magician after another. Sci-fi did not hesitate to express his vision of the future. He is not afraid of competition, and does not need to hide. He teaches everything his own feelings. He is more confident and has led these poor children to grow together. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 49. Have you heard that Charlotte was spotted by Gatlin's mentor and made his experimental assistant? And it is said that he will often follow Gatlin's tutor to learn. In a small restaurant belonging to a high-level magic apprentice, Ed has an exaggerated envy and hate. In the tower for so many years, I was the first to hear that Gatlin's mentor personally instructed the students. Charlotte is really gone. Shipped. People can take apprenticeships to fight against the contest first, and others have nothing to say. Lyndon stuffed a small fish, said vaguely. Really, I haven't seen her come to dinner in these 2 days, and the library has disappeared. It's really inflated. Ed licked the bread in his mouth. The atmosphere between the apprentices is somewhat weird and somewhat impetuous. For many years, generations of apprentices have been learning to grow up freely according to the original trajectory. However, this seems to have changed today. Yang? What do you think? Fa Wei touched Yang's elbow. Yang is somewhat stunned. He thought of everything he had communicated with Ziwei yesterday. He thought of the information revealed in the Ziwei discourse and thought of the status quo of Charlotte. It's hard to say, Yang said with a sigh of relief, but his eyes turned to Ziwei and Meryl in the corner. They are sitting very close and have been whispering. Meryl, has there been any change in meditation recently? Ziwei was very curious to help Meryl make any changes after Yin meditation. It seems that the magic growth rate has increased. Meryl dragged the gang and replied sideways, I feel that my magic is more durable and more flexible. The same spelling will consume less magic. Good change. When we go to the lab, I have new ideas to communicate with you. Ziwei was very happy to communicate with Meryl, and did not seem to notice Yang's gaze. I am leaving first. I will give classes to new apprentices later. Yang got up and said goodbye. Soon, Ziwei and Meryl, who had finished eating, also went out together, leaving only the three brothers Fa Wei, Lyndon, and Ed. I always feel that something is wrong. It seems that some of our brothers are inexplicably no one cares. You see Charlotte and Yang, one by one, busy and mysterious. Even the new high-level magic apprentice West Victoria, there is a little girl sticking around all day. How can I not have such good luck? Fa Wei spread his hands and said inexplicably. Yeah, watching Ziwei and Meryl walking together every day, they are not going to engage in objects. This is really sad. Meryl is small, but if you look closely, it will not be bad in the future. How much? Lyndon apparently found resonance from Fa Wei here. There are several female apprentices in the tower. Charlotte is famous for the flower, and Meryl is like that, but recently the new magic apprentice Freya, although only 12 or 3 years old, can already be seen to be a big one. Beauty, the future will definitely not be much worse than Charlotte. Ed held his chin. Do you have any chances? Pull down, to say the opportunity, or Yang is bigger. People can now teach Freya. Fa Wei did not hesitate to mock Ed. My life is really grey. I can't see even a little light. Ed was stunned. At this time, Charlotte is facing Gatlin on the 6th floor of the tower to conduct a crucial dialogue. Gatlin mentor, I am now a warlock. I don't know if this is the standard for being promoted to a magician before the age of 20. Where is Palin? I want to see him. In a short time, Summerlot has tried to adjust his voice, but now it is equally low, but not so hoarse, with a little magnetism. Gatlin sat in a large, comfortable chair. He said after a moment of indulgence, yes, you have turned into a deep Kanjak, and now you can count on a warlock. But in any case, you are not a real magician, so I want to, after you really get promoted to the magician, let you reunite with Palin. How? Palin has left the tower, has new learning and growth outside, and can't let him come back in a short time. When she heard reunion with Palin, Charlotte almost shuddered. Even though she had already turned into the blood of the abyss, she was able to control the flame energy. At this moment, she felt the cold chill of the bones. Then can I touch some ring spells? A ring spell in the tower, I have been looking forward to it for a long time, Charlotte continued to ask. Very good. This is what you deserve. Gatlin took a page of parchment from the bookshelf behind him, engraved with the spell model and casting elements. Floating, Charlotte picked it up. You learn first, learn to come back, find me new. Gatlin nodded and motioned Charlotte to leave. After waiting for the room to be empty again, Gatlin fell backwards, comfortably lying in the soft blanket of the high back chair, playing with a delicate instrument made of arcane crystal. Charlotte, little girl, beyond my expectation, I know that it is good for me. But this is her usual style. The next most important thing is the next experiment, and this experiment must be successful. 3 days later is the new month. The apprentice has been assessed. This time, I think, Yang, my good student, you will give me a surprise, isn't it? In the laboratory belonging to Ziwei is teaching Meryl's tides and thoughts. Unlike the previous meditation on Hin that Meryl had done, this time it was even more difficult, because it needed Meryl to build the environment independently and be a scene architect for the heart of the lake. Many people's heart lakes are almost always unchanged after the first meditation is determined. However, only by being able to change the heart lake scene through the architecture can the tides and meditations be opened. It's hard to get to, just like getting old people who are used to the same life to get in touch with new things. However, Meryl is undoubtedly a very good student. She is full of enthusiasm and full of knowledge and exploration. She is willing to make changes. After she fully informed her method, she began to try alone. Ziwei has not yet communicated with Yang. He decided to wait until Yang's meeting again to his official promotion to the magician. The true genius is proud, and without the genius of the heart, it is not a genius. As a teenager with excellent magical talents, Yang has always had a strong self-confidence. If he wants to truly convince Yang, he must be 2 steps ahead of him, or even more, to really make him realize the gap. Become your own student. Yes, Ziwei's words to Charlotte are the true thoughts of his heart. With such a good foundation, after defeating Gatlin, he wants to build a real magic school here. Yang is the best core disciple candidate he has identified. Meryl is not too simple, and Charlotte's identity is inconvenient. Others are just Chinese. Only Yang may be able to keep up with his own pace in the future. Although Ziwei's past life has always been a lonely interstellar explorer, he knows that talent is the most important force. To run a power of his own is far more effective than single-handedness. With zero help and knowledge and insights from another world, Ziwei has confidence and can do it himself, truly becoming a powerful magician. No, it is the Arcanist. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Du. Chapter 50. Time flies very fast. In these 3 days, Ziwei took time out of the tower to practice the arcane missile spell every night. The mastery of this spell has reached the point of perfection. The cast time is further shortened, and the power of the spell is also strengthened. It can be said that the distance is completely engraved in the soul and there is only 1 step left. However, it was time for the monthly apprentice magic test. Ziwei prepared well early, letting Zero sneak into his heart lake again, and took about 1/3 of the magic. And because of the title meditation on the magic of the heart of the lake, the magic of Ziwei has not been able to fill the heart of the lake, has not yet reached the new limit of 60 standard magic, but there are also 42 standard magic. But it seems that it only occupies 2/3 of the heart of the lake, and there is no natural exposure after the magic overflows. On this day, all the magic apprentices were prepared in advance, and they all promised that they had a full rest the night before and accumulated the magic of fullness. In particular, a few magic apprentices who stand on the edge of the breakthrough are even more nervous and look on their faces. To know that every step of the magic apprentice in the tower is promoted, the treatment will be greatly improved, and the speed of magic growth will also increase. Will increase accordingly. First, the test of the first-class magic apprentice group, a total of 22 first-class magic apprentices, including the 5 new Flayia who joined the tower. They take turns one by one, show their best-selling zero-loop spells, and repeat the process. Among the magic apprentices who joined the tower, several others have not yet mastered even a zero-ring spell. Only Freya's performance is eye-catching, and she has performed 3 bright techniques. It is only 10 days since she entered the tower, even Gatlin could not help but admire and encourage her. 32 first-class magic apprentices, this time only one person reached 5 standard magic, successfully promoted to the middle-level magic apprentice. The next 25 mid-level magic apprentices tested, unfortunately no one can reach 10 standard magic. 4 apprentices have successfully applied 9 zero-ring spells, but failed in the 10th process, and fell short. Next, I went to the magic test of the high-level magic apprentice. Due to the apprenticeship spells that have just been held, the 7 high-level magic apprentices in the tower have almost become the stars in the tower. This time, the apprentices who have completed the test have not left, but have spared interested in watching several high-level magic apprentices take turns testing. Ed first went forward and was full of confidence. The zero-ring spell he chose to cast was a frozen ray. His score was 13 times and he failed in his 14th time. In the past month, his magic has grown and he has grown very fast. Lyndon and Faraway took turns and they all grew a magic. Meryl's magic has grown to 14, but under the shackles of Ziwei, she only played 12 masters. Ziwei went forward, but suddenly felt different places. There is a shiny instrument that is in the hands of Gatlin. First came the message, it is made of arcane crystal. It forms a powerful field. Then, Ziwei felt the role of this kind of field, and the magic that he was captured by Zero was recovering at a very fast speed. Oops. This time, it is clear that Gatlin is really moving. He wants to detect the true level of the apprentices. With the field of this mysterious magic instrument, you can easily fill up the magic power that the apprentice pre-consumed. The state of depletion of magic is impossible to disguise. The West Victorian face does not change color, and he uses the standard zero-ring spell he chose, the Secret Law Imprint. Only this spell can move some hands and feet and not be seen by Gatlin. After obtaining the research data of Palin's Secret Imprint spell from Charlotte, Ziwei made a deeper exploration and research on this basis, and it has gained a lot. Ziwei carefully controlled his own Chaoshan Lake. Every secret imprint was added in the heart of the lake. Everything on the spell model was carried out 5 times. The spell model is reduced to the ultimate spell structure. Painting 5 times is purely a method that has no effect and simply wastes magic. However, thanks to the deep accomplishments of 11 Wei's magical spell and the study of this spell variant, the time to display the secret imprint seems similar to the usual, but it guarantees the consumption of 5 standard magic. Once, twice, 3 times, and played for 7 times in a row, 11 Wei was keenly aware that the field that had been shrouded in him had disappeared, and the magic that he had previously captured by Zero had been fully replenished. This is how Ziwei restored the magic of the blessing of the secret law to the standard, and again played it 6 times, showing a depletion of magic. Ziwei is undoubtedly an important piece in the eyes of Gatlin, but this time the test made Gatlin have a judgment on the strength of Ziwei, and the total amount of magic reached 14 or 5, showing it is 13 copies, a very good magical genius, but obviously not mature enough to harvest. The secret confrontation between Ziwei and Gatlin did not reveal any clues, but Ziwei's successive performances of 13 standard zero-ring spells were obvious to all. You know, a month ago, 11 Wei just emerged from more than 20 middle-level magic apprentices and became a high-level magic apprentice. At this moment, Ziwei became the focus of all the apprentices in the tower. However, 11 Wei gave birth to a little worry about Yang's next situation. Charlotte didn't appear here early, but for the reason of the leave, Gatlin knew it well, and he approved it quickly, so Yang had only one person left to complete the magic test. Yang walked up as usual, but at this moment his brow wrinkled. Gatlin's face showed a bright smile. He stared at Yang with his eyes, as if he was very happy to see his proud disciple's performance. In fact, this is the case. Yang, my disciple, you are really a magical genius that is rare even in the Thousand Ways Tower. Under this complete stocking, at the age of 15, he reached the peak of the magic apprentice. After that, he did not know how to teach himself. But there is Garilo first, then Palin. I have always had enough experimental materials, which will tolerate your cleverness. However, the great experiment has finally reached the final moment. I need you to dedicate myself to the great mentor. Welcome to the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are all in mobile users. Please read.